Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into a really compelling story, Patrick's Tombstone ROM. He was an American game dog whose legacy, well, it really wasn't what people expected at first. We're working from an excerpt that details his pretty remarkable life.
Exactly. We'll look at his breeding, which was, let's say, unusual, and his one big fight, a real come-from-behind win. And then how he became this key sire, even though, folks initially overlooked him. It gives us some great insights into how real value sometimes just reveals itself later on.
Okay, so let's unpack the start. Tombstone, bred by Don Maloney. Then he went through Petronelli, and finally ended up with Don Mayfield, who raised him. Sounds like he moved around a bit early on.
Yeah, he did. And what's really fascinating, I think, is his background, the genetics. So his sire was Maloney's Toot. Toot was known for producing what they called hard biters.
Okay, hard biters. Maybe.
The dog's known for an intense grip, real drive, and performance. Toot actually sired Maloney's Davis, and Davis produced some big-names champions like Argyle Sunday, Cobra, Black Sabbath. So that's one side.
Right. A line known for specific traits.
But then you look at his dam, Speedy Alan Jena. She was described as scatterbred.
Scatterbred, meaning just a mix.
Pretty much. Her lineage wasn't tightly focused. It drew from all sorts of different lines. P-Sparks, Heinzl, Corvino, even Tudor. Very diverse.
Huh. So you've got this, focused performance line on one side and this really wide-open genetic mix on the other. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? How did that blend actually shape him? Was it, unpredictable?
That's the question. It was definitely a genetic gamble. And as we'll see, it kind of paid off in unexpected ways. Now, his actual competitive career, it was unique. Tombstone only fought once.
Just one match.
Just one, against Bobby Hall's Bullyson Jr. And this wasn't just any opponent. Bullyson Jr. was already a two-time winner and a son of the famous Bullyson.
Okay, so a tough first and only outing.
Definitely. And get this, Ed Weaver put on the show, right? But both Tombstone and Bullyson Jr. were conditioned by their owners at Don Mayfield's place at the same time.
No way. Seriously. Training side by side. Wow. Imagine the atmosphere there.
Incredible, isn't it? The match itself, well, it was a marathon. For the first hour, Bullyson Jr. really had the upper hand. He was using stifle holds, targeting Tombstone's back legs, trying to wear him down. Tombstone was mostly defending.
So it looked bad for him initially.
It did. But then, around the 1 hour, 14-minute mark, there was an out-of-hold call. They separated. And that's when Tombstone made what they called a hard scratch.
A hard scratch, like a big move.
Exactly. A really decisive, aggressive move to re-engage, showed he wasn't done, and not long after, at 1 hour 25, Bobby Hall conceded the match. Tombstone won. It was described as a game come-from-behind effort.
Wow. So it wasn't about sheer power from the start. It was endurance, timing, grabbing that one chance to flip the script. That kind of resilience, especially in your only fight, must have really changed how people saw him.
Oh, absolutely. It totally defined him. After that win, Patrick bought him. But interestingly, he left Tombstone with Mayfield for another 14 months. Seems he was hoping for another match, but it just never happened.
So he finally goes to Patrick's yard.
Yeah.
Ready for a stud career.
Well, yes and no. He arrived, got bred to about 15 females. But even after retiring to stud, he wasn't exactly, popular. People kind of overlooked him. The description was long-legged, rangy-looking, and scatterbred. Not really the image of a top sire back then.
So even after that amazing win, his looks and that mixed background kind of held him back. People were still skeptical.
It seems so. Which leads to the big question. How did this, let's say, underestimated dog become so influential later on?
Right. What happened?
That's the surprising part. Despite that low initial demand, Tombstone ended up siring multiple champions. Think about Tonka, Crash, Uptown Snubby. All came from just one breeding with a female named Red Baby, who herself was a daughter of Indian Bolio.
Wow, from one pairing.
And there were others, Cifrino, Dozer, and the really notable one, Grand Champion Hope. These champions, the CH and GRH titles showing their success, they just proved that his real value, his genetic contribution, wasn't obvious at first glance. His impact kind of snuck up on people, came from these maybe unexpected combinations.
That's incredible. A real testament to looking beyond the surface. The sources also mentioned how he died, right? Something about heartworms.
Yeah, sadly he died from heartworms a few years later. And the source notes that back then, the cure was sometimes worse than the malady. Just gives you a bit of context about the medical realities of that time.
Right, a tough end. It really completes the arc of his life, doesn't it?
It does. From that unusual breeding, the single dramatic win, to becoming this unexpectedly significant sire despite initial doubts.
So we've taken a deep dive into Patrick's Tombstone ROM, a dog whose unique mix of genes, that one defining victory against the odds, and a stud career that nobody really saw coming, created this lasting legacy. It's just a powerful reminder, isn't it, that potential and influence can show up in the most surprising ways, often flying under the radar initially.
Absolutely. This story really shows that, greatness isn't always about a perfect pedigree or instant success. It makes you think. For you, listening, what part of Tombstone's journey stands out the most? Was it that unlikely win, his mixed-up background, or maybe how his influence grew quietly over time?
Definitely something to ponder. Thanks for diving deep with us today.